Video 9. Let's add some geojson to our map, but we got to do some prep work first. So I think last video we wrote a function that would basically just hardcode main, because that's what we grabbed off of Mapbox's website, and then we added some extra functionality to go get our bounding box with a route from our Flask API. Simple stuff. So now we're going to take that bounding box that we got from Flask and we're going to turn it into something that looks more like geojson. Like, we're going to add a line string first. So I'm going to write a function to turn our simple little set of coordinates that we get back. Remember, if you look in our console, we were getting a bounding box with is just a bunch of mins and maxes that would surround a state. Okay, I want to turn that into a set of coordinates and wrap it into some geojson code. So let's write a function to do that first. So if we look down here, we have, when we did the hard-coded add layer, and type is geojson, and then the data starts here and it went all the way down to here. Is that right? Yeah. So I'm going to copy that. So function build geojson, and paste that, format it. Okay, so here's the coordinates that we're adding that will be passed in. So the coordinates, okay, and then we need to give it a type, and then I need to fix some syntax obviously here. So var geojson is equal to, and then we can say return geojson. Okay, so we pass in the coordinates, which gets placed there, and we'll pass in the feature type, and we'll put that there. So if we did do some comments, the chords is an array type, which of a line string or polygon for now. We won't do a multi-polygon or anything crazy. And then the feature type I would have just put type, but usually that's a reserved word. So and that's either a polygon or a line string. Okay, and then we'll just basically put it in a little JSON object and then return it, and we'll use that in a little bit. So, well, we'll use it now. So the bounding box data that we get back from our result is really just a set of 4 coordinates. So we need to package those into something that can be displayed. So how do we pull those out? In data, if we look at the console again, data has the results. Remember the results key, which is an array of one item, and everything always comes back in an array. So we're going to have to reference the 0th item in the array, because we're being consistent with what we returned from our API, and then we'll pull these coordinates out of there. So if we simply say let our results equal to data dot results sub 0. All right, now we've reached in and we've pulled these out. Okay, So we have the state name and the mins and maxes. Alright, so I'll do some cutting and pasting so you don't have to watch me type everything. So here we're going to let our coordinates equal to, so a line string, remember, a single set of square brackets with points in between is just a set of points. Nope, I'm wrong. This is a line string. It's an array of arrays where each subarray is a point. If we want to make this robust, we can make this is a polygon, so that if we wrote a function to handle our coordinates, like if we were going to build geojson down here, then, well, let's do that. So if we package everything from here as a polygon, no, we won't do that. I'm making it too complicated. Here's a line string. We're going to use a line string, so let's make it a line string. I was trying to think ahead, which later on maybe we'll add it up. But all right, so we get the coordinates out of our response from our API. We build a line string array. These aren't even defined yet. Let me pull those out too. So I just pulled each of them out, just because also I want to calculate, here's the center of this bounding box. And why do we need that? Well, if we're going to zoom, or if we're going to move our map so that it's over whatever layer we're putting onto the map, we probably want to know where to center it. So this will give us a center. This gives us the coordinates of the line string. Let's get our geojson. So we have a function for that. Pass in our chords, and our feature type is line string. So this will give us this. So now we want to add a layer. And when we add a layer, we're going to pass in the state name, and we're going to pass in our coordinates. Actually, our geojson. So here we have map.addSource. Well, we probably want to pass in an ID as well. And so maybe we don't even need the state, because to me the ID would be like main plus line, like main line string. So let's build that up here. So before we say add layer, we've got our geojson, and let's make us an ID. So we get the state outside of so we know results, data sub results sub 0, and so let ID equal to results dot state plus we'll just call it line. So we just want something to make each layer unique. So here I will pass in ID, we'll pass in geojson. Okay, and then down here in our function add layer, the ID is the ID. The type is geojson. The data is the geojson that we pass in. No comma needed, it's the last element in this add source. And then add layer ID, well, we can use the same one because the layer IDs and source IDs, I guess they're not stored in the same place, so type. We're not going to do a fill type, not yet. So remember here, when we add a line string, let's grab these, and I'm going to hard code them again just for now. And we'll make this so that if it's a polygon, we do stuff. So type is line, ID, source, we got type. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. Type is line. What's the source? The source is ID. Because, yeah, the source ID, put it there. The ID of this layer is there. And we should be good. Colors and stuff, we can fix all that later. Okay, so when we call add layer, it's referencing map. So it's telling map, add the source that I built, geojson, with this ID, or build this source object with ID, and now add that as a layer with, well, we're using the same ID, and then this source ID grabs the data that we want to display. Hope that's not confusing using the same ID, but it's been working and I've had no issues, so we should be good. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's make sure. Okay. Let's try the great state of Texas. Boom. Okay. Ugly. We didn't center it, we didn't do anything. But yeah, if you look at the edges, it's every extreme. Not a big issue. Let's change the color of that and some of the styling. So the color, this is a hex value. Whenever you have the same values for your red, green, and blue, you always get a gray. Let's just make this straight up green. Ooh, that's bright. Okay, maybe not that bright. Yeah, screw it. Line width, we'll do like a 3. Save. Let's try Florida. There we go. So now the next thing, we're getting our layer to display. One thing we're not doing is we're not keeping track of the layer. We're adding it and forgetting about it. So remember this. What we'll do in the next few videos is we'll create some kind of like an array to store all of our IDs so that we can manage them and remember their names, and so we can remove them and those types of things. Okay, well, what if we want to move our map to be centered over our layer? So we could put some code in here, because there is a map.flyto, and what does it receive? A JSON object, just like everything. And in our JSON object, we tell it where to center our map. We also tell it, this would be coordinates, and we'll pass those in. Remember, we calculated them earlier. Essential true. I'm not 100% what that is, but I'm not sure, but we're going to leave it. And then we can set a zoom level. So I think the zoom level goes down to 19, and 5 will kind of show us the entire state. So if I want to, I don't want to couple this with adding a layer, because maybe we don't always want to zoom and move. So I'm going to just write another function called add a flyto. Stupid name, maybe. And so we'll probably want to pass in a center value and a zoom level. So now we can say center on center and zoom to zoom. and that's a semicolon. Okay. I'll comment this later. So after we say add layer, so we can say add flyto, and we have its center calculated, and the zoom level is 5. Alright, let's see. Where do you want to zoom to? Let's zoom to Puerto Rico. Zoom. Whoa. Oh, I was like, what is this? I forgot about that guy. I haven't gotten rid of him because he's kind of endearing. Let's go up to Washington. Boom. There is already a source with this ID. Interesting. Let's run this again. Refresh. Refresh will kill all that. So we'll try this again. Washington, and then I'm going to try Puerto Rico. Okay. Okay, there is already a source with this ID, which I don't understand because either interesting. So this has Puerto Rico. The previous bounding box had Washington. So let's log out to see what the ID is. I wonder if this is not getting... Okay, let's console.log the ID. Okay, try again. Okay, Washington, boom, ID undefined. That's what I thought. So what happened is everybody's getting undefined line as their ID, and so yeah, if we go to Puerto Rico, undefined line. So why is that? Well, I'm obviously name. Interesting. Was that name? It's all lowercase. Yeah, I knew that. And one more time. And sweet. So then we zoom out. There they both are. Alright. So next time what I'll talk about is how to get rid of them, how to keep track of multiple items, and yeah, we'll just keep on keeping on. Alright, have a good one. See you in a minute.